The MacBook Neo is an outstanding value. The $599 notebook is the most affordable Apple laptop ever, and it doesn't skimp on fit and finish to get there. It has a gorgeous 13-inch display, an aluminum body, and a great keyboard and trackpad. It's an ideal computer for students and office work. But how well does the Neo handle creative work? Photo and video editing require more computing power than web browsing and spreadsheets. I'm PCMag's camera guru, so I put the MacBook Neo to the test to find out. For pictures, I loaded shots from the 33 megapixel Sony a7 IV and 100 megapixel Hasselblad X2D into Adobe Lightroom Classic. The Neo takes longer to import pictures versus the $949 M4 MacBook Air because its USB port is slower and it can't render preview images until after it's finished copying photos, but it easily handles edits to exposure, contrast, highlights, and shadows. But the Neo struggles with more difficult edits. It takes about 90 seconds to apply noise reduction to an image versus 20 seconds for an M1 Max Mac Studio from 2022. The Studio's faster multi-core processor and extra memory wins the day there. I also noticed some lag when zooming in and panning across raw photos with the Neo, and dealt with similar lag when using the sensor dust removal brush. Simply put, the Neo suffers with Lightroom's advanced retouching tools. What about video? I loaded some 10-bit 4K 24 footage from the Canon EOS R50V into Final Cut Pro and dropped it onto a timeline. I overlaid 3 clips with partial opacity so that Final Cut would have to render them at the same time. The Neo handled playback with flying colors, no dropped frames or stutter. It does take a little while to export an H.264 clip. It runs at about twice real-time speed, so a 6-minute edit takes 3 minutes to export. That's not a big deal for short-form content, but if you're editing longer videos, you're in for a wait. Not surprisingly, the Neo is no good for 8K video. I loaded some clips from the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, and the computer just can't play them back in Final Cut, Premiere Pro, or Resolve. The footage stutters and the audio is garbled and out of sync. If you're going beyond 4K, you simply need a beefier system. The Neo doesn't have that much storage either. The base model comes with 256 gigabytes, about half of which is available after installing some creative apps. Apple also has a $699 version that has a 512 gig SSD, but creatives know how quickly that fills up. The Neo has 2 USB-C ports to connect an external hard drive or SSD, but only one runs at 10 gigabits per second speed. The other is stuck at 480 megabits per second, so it's really only good for charging. I also think that the 13-inch screen is a little small for editing work. Timelines, adjustment panes, and media bins take up precious screen real estate, so you end up looking at a tiny image or video clip, which can make it harder to judge focus and exposure. The MacBook Air is available with a roomier 15-inch screen, which I like better for editing. My advice? If you're looking for a laptop for photo and video editing on the go, it's worth it to stretch your budget and pick up an M4 MacBook Air over the Neo. The price difference isn't huge, and you'll appreciate the faster performance and larger screen in the Air. The Neo is as good as a $599 laptop can be, but falls short for demanding creative work.